Join us for lively discussion about the A-State community. Each week, we'll meet with a variety of faculty, staff, and students to discuss all things Arkansas State University. Live from the ASU-TV studios in the School of Media and Journalism, this is A-State Connections. And this is A-State Connections on KASU and ASU-TV. I'm Jonathan Reeves, academic advisor in the School of Media and Journalism and the Department of Communication at Arkansas State. It's hard to believe, but we're at the last show of the academic year, so welcome. Arkansas State University has been hosting a media training workshop called Girls Doing Good. It's a partnership between the Women's Foundation of Arkansas and the East Initiative. Today's show will be in two parts. In the first part, I'll talk with Communications Coordinator with the East Initiative, Bradley Brewer, and Communications and Program Specialist with the Women's Foundation of Arkansas, Kristen Phantazia Smith. In the second half of the show, I'll talk with some East students who have been in the conference today. Bradley and Kristen, thanks for joining us. Appreciate y'all being here today.
Absolutely, thank you.
So first, I want to ask you, Kristen, about the Women's Foundation of Arkansas. Tell us about this.
Yeah, so we are a nonprofit, a statewide nonprofit based in Little Rock, and we focus on the economic security of women and girls across the state. And we do that through research, through programs, and also through grant giving. And so the East Initiative is one of those entities that received a grant from us.
So tell us, Bradley, about the East Initiative.
Sure. So East Initiative is an education nonprofit that, we say East is education accelerated by service and technology. So over thousands of students are in Arkansas and beyond. Even we have programs in Oklahoma and Louisiana. We supply them with sophisticated STEM technology, and they learn how to use it, and they put it to good use by solving problems in their community with that technology.
So what's the difference between the East Initiative and like the East programs that are in school?
Sure. So East Initiative is the nonprofit. We have an office in Little Rock. It's where we kind of facilitate things. It's we're East HQ is what we kind of call it. While East programs, there's over 250 East programs, and these are at specific schools, right? And so there are several in Northeast Arkansas. Paragould, Nettleton schools, Valley View. These schools have programs that they're almost like an elective. They're pretty much an elective, but it's very open-ended. It's very student-driven, and it really gives students an opportunity to really think outside the box and have more say in what their education is and what they interact with and what they do.
And I can only imagine how proud you are of the projects these students are working on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, these students are way smarter than I am, in my opinion, right? The stuff they do, and it's all encompassing, right? Some of them focus more on creating change in their communities, solving problems through, working with other nonprofits that are local nonprofits, and others are doing like photogrammetry in cave systems in Northwest Arkansas. Like, it's crazy. It's both complex and full of heart, and that's what East is all about.
So I want to talk about the program's impacts on students, and I know you're extremely proud of the students, Kristen, that are involved in the programs you all are doing there through the Women's Foundation of Arkansas.
Yeah, I was telling Bradley earlier, I think what's super special about having a partnership with them is the ability to reach students that we do not specifically reach in the programs that we host. So we have very specific niches like 8th grade girls, college girls, and so the fact that they reach thousands across the state is just a really unique opportunity.
I don't want to make this question sound like it's, like it's not, I don't know really how to phrase this, but this may sound like an obvious question, but still, why is the Women's Foundation of Arkansas needed in Arkansas?
Yeah, okay. I think it's needed because unfortunately there's still light years for us to go for women to have the same opportunities as men, not just in the state, but in the country. And so for us to be focused on building and creating those opportunities from the mouths of the people that we serve is super important. So we talk to, our elementary girls, we talk to our women in the community and make sure that everything that we are outputting is going to directly affect them in the positive ways that they need.
This partnership between Women's Foundation of Arkansas and East Initiative, how did it come together? I think this is a fantastic partnership that y'all have.
You want to take it or you got it?
going to let you. I'm just going to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it goes back a few years, and it started with an endowment of the Dr. Mary Logood Legacy Scholarship. It is a $1,000 scholarship endowed in partnership by the Women's Foundation and East Initiative, and every year it goes to exclusively a female East student who has just gone above the call of duty and serving their community and just really being proactive and changing lives through STEM technology. So that's where it started, and then this grant, East Initiative was awarded this Girls Doing Good grant towards the end of 2021, and so we've been proactive and just finding ways to make marquee student training events to where girls can have opportunities to interact with female professionals in different fields. Today it's women in media, but we're also focusing on creating opportunities for girls that may be more into coding or even like engineering, architecture, graphic design, stuff like this.
And girls are doing good. They're doing good work here in Arkansas, aren't they, Kristen?
They are. Yes. Oh, yes, they are doing wonderful things.
Yeah, fantastic. So I wanted to ask you about some of the things that have been going on in the conference today. So kind of tell us a bit about that, Bradley, if you don't mind, please.
Sure. So the first half of this conference has been focused on, female professionals coming in. So we had Kara Ritchie, who's a sports radio host with EAB, Imani Williams, who's a news reporter and anchor with Region 8 News, and Miranda Reynolds, who's the executive director of Main Street Paragould. So it's kind of three different angles in media where women are, kind of like you said, they're not as well represented as men in these fields. And so they gave an opportunity to share their experiences with our East students and tell them, what it's actually like in these fields, and specifically, what it's like being a woman in these fields and the challenges they may face and how to handle these said challenges.
And why is it that you think, Kristen, that there are not as many women in media like we need? What do you think? Are there like some significant challenges or barriers that there might be? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think exposure would be like the top thing, which is, and East is hitting that on the head. So giving these students the opportunity to be exposed to it before you get to college and have to make a decision on, what you want to major in, like that's a beast in and of itself. So having the opportunity to come to a college campus and put your hands on the equipment and talk to students and really get that exposure is huge.
Whether it's media or other challenges in Arkansas, Kristen, I want to ask you about how can we as society help start breaking down some of those significant barriers that women face, in the challenges that they are facing in Arkansas? Because I know that that's a huge part of your mission. How do we start working on that?
I would say on a micro level, a lot of times we think about really big things that can be done, but I think on an individual level, it's the awareness and making sure that you're checking either your biases at the door, that you're making sure that you are creating spaces for women, and that as an individual, you are making sure that those spaces are welcoming, that they are allowing women to be rooted in the things that they need. And I think it really starts with an inner thing, and that's you can do that today. You can make sure that you're doing those things.
Riley, your thoughts on having more women involved in East programs, STEAM and STEM and all of that?
Absolutely, and one thing that I'm very thrilled about is that it seems to be a lot of like our student champion program, which is where every East program has the opportunity to nominate student champions to where they lead. They're kind of the student leaders, the team captains, if you will, of their East programs. And a majority of each student champions are girls. That's something we're excited about. Girls are very excited about East and the opportunities to, have that access to that STEM technology and get involved and do good. Like it's just we've seen so much that girls have really taken over in a lot of ways. The boys, I love my boys, but
Sure.
But the girls have been doing really good. They've been innovating, they've been serving their communities, and just the passion that they bring, it's been remarkable.
The best thing in the world is to be a girl dad, and I know this because I am a girl dad, and I know how awesome that is. And my girl goes here to Arkansas State, and that so it's good to be able to see that girls are taking the lead. They're starting to be able to do that and being able to do all this and get so passionate about these things. It's just really, really awesome to be able to see, and to be able to see something like this today. It could be life-changing, Kristen.
Yeah, it could. I think it's so important that we equip women and girls with the tools that they need. And when you do that, I mean, you're really affecting those communities. Like, we go out and we do the work. And so I think really focusing efforts on that and making sure we're intentional both with resources, with encouragement and empowerment is very important.
So the girls who have been here today, and some of them are out there watching, and so we appreciate them being here today. Where are they from? Kind of tell us a bit about that. Are they from all over the state of Arkansas or Northeast Arkansas?
Sure. So it seems for this student training, it's a lot of Northeast Arkansas, which makes sense since we are at Arkansas State.
Sure.
So I know we have Cross County, Paragould, Searcy, Andy Camp Junior High School, West Side, to name a few, Harrisburg. I know I'm leaving some of them out. I apologize for that. But very Northeast Arkansas. But we have programs, in Northwest Arkansas and Central Arkansas, all over the state and beyond, but primarily in Arkansas. But it seems like the regional schools have really taken an interest in this to get involved with, Arkansas State and the great media program. Speaking from bias, I'm
Sure.
being a graduate here, but the great media program you guys have here.
Right.
And, getting the chance to go hands-on. And because in a few years, a lot of them will probably be students here, hopefully, so that'd be cool.
Yeah, and I'd love to be their advisor, for sure. And so one thing I thought was really cool is seeing this behind the scenes before we even went on to the on air. We've got some of the female students that are here in this Video 1 class that are mentoring already, showing people how to run camera, how to do the behind the scenes. I've even seen some of the high school girls in your program that are kind of taking the junior high girls under their wing. That is so important, isn't it?
Yeah, the mentorship,
Yeah.
that word is huge. It's the connection. It's knowing, again, it's beautiful in the field, but also knowing that person that you took under your wing, you can also help them in other areas of their lives, right? And making sure that they are well-rounded and strengthened. So that mentorship is really important.
I'm really excited to talk to a couple of the East students.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that and have them come up in the next segment. So Communications Coordinator with the East Initiative, Bradley Brewer, and Communications and Program Specialist with Women's Foundation of Arkansas, Kristen Phantazia Smith, been joining us here. When we come back, we're going to talk with these students, Lexi, Jarrett, and Katelyn Reed. We'll be right back after this quick timeout.
ASU-TV, shows like Red Wolf Roundtable, ASU-TV News, Westside Football, and more. Gain real-life experience while doing what you love. Get involved with ASU-TV today.
Are you looking for an education that will take you places? At Arkansas State University, we're preparing students for success in today's ever-changing job market. With expert faculty and cutting-edge technology, we're creating an environment where students can thrive and reach their full potential. And with a diverse student body and a supportive community, you'll find plenty of options to get involved and make lifelong connections. Discover all that Arkansas State University has to offer. Apply today and start your journey to a brighter future.
Red Wolf Radio is a student-led organization at Arkansas State University wanting to hear your takes on pop culture, music, the news, and college life. Just about anything you can think of. Located in the Education and Communications building on campus, we are always looking for more volunteers. So if you're an Arkansas State University student, no matter the major, and this is something that interests you, shoot us an email at redwolfradio@astate.edu. That's redwolfradio@astate.edu. Let them hear you howl.
At Arkansas State, we want you to go. Go where learning soars, takes flight, and rockets ahead. Go for experiences, internships, and scholarships. We want you to go. Become A-State Maine. Are you ready to go? Go.astate.edu for details.
Live from the ASU-TV studios in the School of Media and Journalism, this is A-State Connections. And welcome back to A-State Connections on KASU and ASU-TV. We want to welcome our live studio audience here today, as their girls have been part of the Girls Doing Good media training that's going on here. We're continuing our conversation about the partnership between the East Initiative and the Women's Foundation of Arkansas. The Girls Doing Good media training is going on today here at Arkansas State, and we're proud to have the East students here today. Lexi, Jarrett from Cross County High School, along with Katelyn Reed from Paragould High School. Ladies, welcome to A-State Connections.
Oh, thank you for having us.
So I wanted to ask you both your thoughts on the training that's been going on so far today. Lexi, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think the training today was an amazing opportunity for the girls that were able to come. You know, you had different professionals from different parts of media. You know, you had people from KAIT, you had radio personalities, you had people that work with downtown Paragould. So you get to hear all these different stories about media being implemented in different ways. You know, a lot of people, whenever they think of media, it's either just newspapers or it's just being a like newscaster or something. So being able to hear the different stories and just get to hear more about those opportunities and just stories with it, I feel like was an amazing opportunity for the students.
Great deal. Katelyn, your thoughts?
I absolutely loved this training, and I will admit that before I came here, I was thinking it was just going to be a fun opportunity. It was just going to be good to get out of my shell a little bit. But I feel like it's kind of altered my future because now I'm really looking into doing something in media to pursue. And I just love it. It's such a good opportunity. I loved hearing from everybody. Miranda Reynolds, that was really fun to hear from her since she is in Paragould.
Sure. And so there's obviously that connection there. We want you both here on this set doing all of these programs here very soon. So that'd be fantastic to have you all here. So let's learn a little bit about you. Lexi, tell me about yourself.
Yep, so I'm Lexi Jarrett. I'm a junior from Cross County High School. I'm a fifth-year East student and the East Student Champion for Cross County. I'm just super involved with the sports media program at Cross County High School. I've been doing play-by-play commentary since my 8th grade year, and then since then I've kind of traveled across the state working at different basketball tournaments and teaching actually other East programs about live streaming and how they can start it in their own programs.
And I saw you recently at Hot Springs hanging out with Dustin Sullivan
Yes,
and some
sir.
others. So all that. So fantastic. What got you interested in this?
In East or commentary?
Yeah, a little bit of both.
So my dad was actually an East facilitator at Harrisburg whenever I was in 1st and 2nd grade. So I was introduced to the idea of East from a very young age, and seeing, you know, the high school students at the time there at Harrisburg, how they were able to work with their communities. I was like, that is what I want to do when I go to high school. So in 7th grade, whenever I got my elective request sheet, you know, East was at the very top. And then since then, I've just been a part of it and found projects within there. But the commentary part, so it was actually a really funny story. So I was working with a local museum. I don't know if you know about the Parker Homestead in Whitehall. Yeah, so we developed an app for them that actually went on and won the Congressional App Challenge. And I was having to create a schedule with our superintendent to have the person from the homestead come over, and my facilitator, Mr. Blake, was like, now, depending on how this goes, is going to determine the future of things. And I thought he meant, like, my career. And I was like, this has nothing to do with sports media. And he's like, no, I'm talking about this project. Well, then, fast forward 2 days later, it was before the first game of the season. He was like, do you say you want to go into sports media? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, our commentator graduates this year, so you're going to go do that. I was like, okay, awesome. So I was terrified. But from that first game, I was like, I know this is what I want to do. And then, yeah.
Fantastic. So tell me, Katelyn, about you.
So my name is Katelyn Reed. I'm a 10th grade student at Paragould High School, and I've been in East for 5 years, and I'm also the student champion for this upcoming year for my East program. I've been on the East Quarterly Fall 2022 magazine cover, which was super exciting, and I loved that opportunity. I've also been to our local Chambers showcase and presented the stuff that I do in East, my project, which was a fun opportunity, and I really enjoyed doing that.
Yeah, tell us about that project.
So my project is the Period Project. So this project is all about women empowerment, destigmatizing periods, and educating the young girls in our district about all things revolving periods, but also supplying them with the sanitary products they need in a convenient way. So we have presented our project to OGMS with informational slides like how to use the products, basic sanitary, what biologically a period is, toxic shock syndrome, and a bunch of other things like that. And then we are presenting it to the junior high May 1st and May 2nd.
Sure.
And then we also have little boxes with our logo that I designed that we are installing in each stall with pads, tampons, and panty liners.
Right. So I want to talk to you all about going to the media training. We talked about your thoughts on the workshop, but what were some of the key takeaways from this particular workshop that if you were to implement them at your schools tomorrow? Tell me about that, what your thoughts were. And Lexi, we'll start with you.
I think the biggest takeaway I got was being able to hear about each person's like individual like confrontations that they've had and different struggles that they faced being a woman in the media field, because it is a male-dominated field, especially if you look into sports media. You know, you see ton more faces that are male than you do female, and hearing these people talk about things, whether it's in the workplace or outside, just kind of minding their own business, and they hear these things, you know, coming from a high school student, it's pretty easy to be like, no one understands, when they really do. So if I could take one thing, it would be just being able to convey those stories to other students that are at Cross County, like, these things are going to happen, but there are ways that you can handle these, and that you just kind of have to keep pushing through, you know, remember why you're doing this. It's because you love it, and that, you know, who knows, maybe one day you can be the face that people look to motivate them and help them get through those hard times.
Sure. Katelyn, your thoughts?
So along with kind of what Lexi said, I feel like being intimidated is something that I took away from the workshop, like not being intimidated when it comes to things like being in a male-dominated workspace. A lot of times, like even for me, I can be somewhere where I feel like I'm kind of like an outcast, and it's intimidating. And it's important to not let that affect you, not let that affect what you do, what you love, and how you proceed in that.
Right. And so in this, we were talking in the first segment about the importance of mentoring others. How would you be able to do that, to take this information and be able to show others in your classes, or maybe people younger than you, about this to help them maybe overcome some of those challenges and fears that they may have? And Lexi, we'll start with you.
I think just being open about the training, you know, like if you have, like if I were to see anybody that shows any type of interest in media, just being like, hey, I actually went to this training, if you want to know a little bit about that. You know, there's a student at Cross County, her name's Karis, and a few years ago she came up to me and she was talking about how she wanted to start working in media of some type. She runs camera for us now for our live stream program, but I think starting with her, because she is a few grades younger than us, and she has friends that are also interested in media, so being able to talk to her, then letting her talk to people in her grades, because one thing is, like, you know, if one person knows, they can tell other people, kind of like a chain reaction, basically. Like if you are able to relay that message to one, they can talk to their friend groups, then that friend group can talk to another. So just being open about everything that I learned and finding ways to work it in if I see an opportunity to talk about it.
Right. Katelyn?
I personally do not know anybody who's interested in going into the media field, but if somebody did express that interest to me, I would make sure to tell them about the experience that I've heard from other people, and also my experience just being here at this workshop and what I took away from it, and how now I am interested in it and what I plan to do.
We need more women in media. We absolutely do. And so that would be great. And, you know, one thing I think, by way of sports commentary, it's cool to see, and there's not many of them, but we're starting to see more women take the role of sports commentary and all that. And that's really a good thing.
It's awesome. I remember whenever I first started out, you know, I'm the first female at Cross County to provide commentary. So being able to be that person at Cross County, and then now, you know, in like bigger industries, seeing more women, it's nice having a person to look up to and just kind of like strive to be like them.
So I want to ask you about who you consider a strong woman to be. Katelyn, I want to ask you that, and why?
Okay, so the first person that comes to my mind when I hear this question is my East facilitator, Miss Stephanie Cooper. She is by far the strongest woman I know. Sorry.
You're fine.
I'm a little bit.
It's okay.
Hold on.
It's okay.
Miss Cooper is, okay, hold on. She is the first women East facilitator at Paragould High School. She has her blog that she writes about. She's also currently writing a book. And she not only is the mother to 2 autistic children, but she is also a military wife. She every single day brings like happiness. Just she always has a smile on her face, and no matter what's going on in her personal life, she never lets it affect her students, and she always makes sure to let them know that she will always be there for them, no matter what they're going through.
Yeah, and I can tell how much love that you have for her and the impact that she's made in your life.
She's helped me to be my most confident, true self. I don't think I've ever been more confident and more willing to do my best and try to be the best version of myself than since she has started being the East facilitator, which this is her first year. So it's clear she has such a good impact already, and there's no telling how much of a bigger impact she'll have for the years leading on.
Thank you for telling us that story. Thank you for that, because I know that's huge to you. So thank you for telling that. Lexi, your thoughts?
So a woman that I've always looked at as a strong woman in my life is the former head girls basketball coach at Cross County. Her name's Kaylee French. We called her, Coach French. She was there for my 7th grade to 9th grade year, and that was about the time that I started providing commentary. And she was just somebody that I could always go to and talk about, being a woman in the sports field. There were so many games where you could see refs treating her differently, or just like the male coaches. And then looking, there were some scheduling problems that year that affected the girls' teams because they were the girls' teams and not necessarily the guys' teams. And so having her and seeing how she was able to work and be the best coach possible despite the trials that she had that year was an amazing thing. And I remember one day going to her office, and I spent probably about 2.5 class periods in there because we were just talking it out. I was having a bad day in terms of how I felt as a female in working in sports, and she was just there to validate the feelings. And then she talked about different things that she had. There were a few tears shed in her office that day, but
Right.
And even now, she's at Valley View as an assistant coach, but I can still talk to her anytime. She'll check up on me, and she's just always been somebody there that I can look at if I ever need any type of assurance.
Last question. What impact do you hope to make in your communities? And I'll ask you, Katelyn, first.
So going along with my project, I hope to just empower the women in my community and make it a point that, like, women have a voice. They can do things like being in media, and they can speak up about things that happen to women that men don't really get. Also to shed a light on periods. That's a huge subject that not many people like to talk about, but it is important, and it's a part of every woman's life.
Right.
So just hope to shed positivity on women and periods, and to hopefully educate the young girls in not only my district but also my community about anything that I feel like they should know.
It's important health issues. Definitely need
Yes.
to make sure that we talk more about them, so for sure. Thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for being here today. Lexi, your thoughts on the impact you'd like to make in your community?
I definitely just want to let, girls and women know that it doesn't matter where you're at or who you're surrounded by, that you are able to do whatever it is you want to do, no matter the circumstances. I'm from Cross County, which is a super small school in the middle of a bean field in Cherry Valley, Arkansas, and it can be kind of hard with such a small school being able to find a voice, especially if it is in like sports or if it is in media or something that is male-dominated. I just want to let people know that it is okay. You can speak up, that you shouldn't let you being a woman stop you from doing that, and that there are so many opportunities and that you have a voice and that you're able to help those around you.
Lexi, thank you for being here. We appreciate you both being here on A-State Connections. That'll do it for this edition of A-State Connections. I want to thank my guests Lexi, Jarrett, Katelyn Reed, Kristen, Phantazia Smith, and Bradley Brewer for joining us today. Also, I want to thank creative media production instructor Galen Perkins and his amazing students who are always running the show behind the scenes. Thanks also to engineers Derek Herring and Clayton Holderfield for their help. And thank you for watching. And this is the last show of the academic year, so I'm going to see you back in September for more A-State Connections show. A-State Connections can be heard also every Saturday morning at 11 on KASU 91.9 FM. So long, everybody.